Okay, so boom. Everybody keep asking me about my relationship with my mama because I always talk about how healthy my relationship is with my father, even though he has 2 life sentences and he missed my entire life. It seems to everybody who's watching that my relationship with my dad is probably more intact than my relationship with my mama. Now I'm just speaking from y'all point of view because y'all always ask me. Now I speak on my mama a lot, but that's on TikTok. And let me say this, first and foremost, I have to pay homage to my mama. That is my heart. That is who gave me life. That is who brought me into this world. That is who took care of me when my daddy was absent. Regardless of however she done it the way she chose she needed to do it in order to take care of us. I have to I'm grateful for my mama. I'm thankful for my mama. Love my mama to death. It's no way I could raise my voice against my mama. Because I understand there's a lot of people who do not even have their mother anymore. But one thing for sure, 2 things certain about Joe T. I do believe in accountability. I believe in, regardless of who you are, taking responsibility for your actions. Now, me and my daddy's relationship is the way it is because me and my daddy came to a place of where we were able to have a heart-to-heart. He was able to take accountability and responsibility. From a genuine place, he was able to admit and understand his mistake as a parent. Now, my mama on the opposite end, I can also sympathize with why my mama is so hesitant and does not feel that she owes me an apology as a parent. There isn't such thing as parental entitlement. See, a lot of parents don't feel like the layers of trauma that they added on to their children, the problems that they added on to, the way, the mindset, the way you operate in relationships. Parents don't feel like they have contributed to that the same way artists in rap music feel like they don't contribute to the younger generation's behavior and mindset. Some parents feel like I did everything that I could in my power, and the choices you made outside of me are the choices you made. But hold on, parents. Let's talk about the environment that you had me in as well. My mama dated one of the biggest dope boys in the city. Story time. So I can remember all that. I have a very photogenic memory. If anybody have not realized that, that's why I'm able to talk about the things I'm able to talk about the way I'm able to talk about them, regardless of how long ago they were. I can still tell my mama's story from when I was 3 or 4 years old. So look, check this out. So one day, my mom and my stepdad, you know what I'm saying, they used to get into it all the time. I'm talking about real deal fights, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you grew up around that. And then what they do, that adds trauma to your children alone. If you feel like you don't owe your child an apology for seeing things like that, hearing things like that, being around things like that. Man, I love my stepdaddy. Still love him to this day. He just came home from prison too. What else here? But this is what parents don't seem to understand. When children see that, it's scary. First and foremost, it's scary. So now the slightest argument, the slightest raising your voice, I'm traumatized immediately. And see, I remember the night, it was one night, I'm talking about going down. When I say they got into fights, it was real fights. I'm talking about knocking holes in the wall, black eyes, nose busted, like it was real deal fights. And I'm talking 30, 45 minutes straight. And then on top of that, you hear the abusive language. So you hear things being thrown. You hear like you hear a real fight. Even though I have love for this man, a son's love for his mother it's just different because you're doing harm. You're doing harm. So my mama walks in the door after all of this is transpiring and going on. Me and my older brother sitting into the room. She walked into the room. For one, we could tell she'd been fighting. We could tell from the clothes, from the look in her face, the sweat, the tears, everything. So she sit down. I'm on the right, my brother on the left, and she telling us she loves us and why she's crying. That's done made us cry. He in the back room, he still yelling and cussing. He talking about he finna off with her head with my mama. My mama responds back and say, if that's what you gonna do, then you go ahead and do it. So at this point, me and my brother had to been thinking the same thing. This man is talking about killing my mama. So while this is going on, this man steps into the door. When he steps into the door of me and my brother's bedroom, while I'm on the right, I'm on the left, my mama's sitting right here in the middle. My mama looks at this man. He got his hand behind his back. And if you don't read the book, then you're familiar with this story. But so when he reaches his hand behind his back, my mama said, "So you gonna do that in front of my kids?" He said, you know what? He said, you can go on and leave. He pitched my mama the keys. When he pitched her the keys, he said, you can go on and leave. My mama reached out the bed, grabbed the keys. He walk off. We get in the car. We go to my granny house. Commercial break me, please. I need y'all to do me a favor. If you ain't already got this book, I need you to go get this book. I don't need you to go get the book out of support. I need you to go get the book because I need you to see something and understand something. When you come from the life that I've come from and live the life that I've lived and seen the things I've seen, been through the things I've been through, and you get to this point in the life, you're at a different place when you speak on the subject. I'm going to say this to everybody who's listening. Because there's a lot of people who listen to my story and they wonder how I'm able to smile, why I'm able to seem so joyful and full of life when I'm talking about my story. When I'm talking about my stories, I'm speaking from a very healed place. I'm speaking from a place of understanding what I'm talking to you about now. Going from group home to group home, going from hood to hood, going from jail to prison, coming from prison, going back home, seeing that nothing has changed. All the conditions are the same. All the people are the same. All their behavior the same. Nothing has changed. And then when I look at my life now and I see what's going on, my own clothing line, my own book, I wrote 5. When I do my music, like just the environment that I'm in now. Look, when I tell you I speak from a healed place, I mean I speak from a healed place. I don't say things to trigger nobody with my story. I say things because I understand that the world we living in, if you don't show vulnerability and be transparent, then people who are going through similar things, they are not able to relate and they are not able to grab hold of something or see something to give them hope. So when I speak, trust me, it's not from a place of I don't care what I've done to people, I don't care what happened, I'm here. It's not that. It's most certainly me being transparent and vulnerable enough so you can see exactly where I'm coming from and why I'm coming from that place. And if you haven't read the book, then you're missing out. But if you have read the book, then you know. So look, check this out. So when we moved to my granny house, a lot of things go on in my granny house. That's when I set the field on fire. Me and my brother ran away. We came home, and people who always wonder why I have never did drugs. This is why. So when we finally came home, my mom and them, they were still up sitting in the living room. They had a pack of cigarettes and a lighter sitting on the table. They thought me and my brother had been smoking, and that's the reason why we set the field on fire. My mama made me puff the cigarette, was smoking the entire cigarette, probably within in a time span of 30 seconds. So when I smoked this cigarette and I choked, from that very day, I knew for a fact I never smoked nothing. And my granddaddy, he was an alcoholic. Both, my granddaddy was an alcoholic. My granny, she liked to drink. So I said, you know what? I'll just drink apple juice. It tastes pretty good. So we ended up moving back. To Springfield. My mama ended up getting back with this man. When we get back with him, one day I'm coming home off the bus, which is also in the book. I'm coming home off the bus, and when I came home, the door had been kicked in. When I walked into the kitchen, which I was terrified as a child to walk in, the whole kitchen had just been busted up. The microwave had been blown up. The silverware was all over the place. The glass, the cups, everything had been broken. Kitchen table had been broke. The kitchen chairs had been broke. By the time I stepped into the living room, it was the same thing. Couches had been cut up. All my mama home interior had been broke up. Both of the bedrooms had been tore up. That's trauma. And at that point, even at that point right there, if you can see, as a child, I was around so much, I didn't know nothing about drugs. But then once I started to understand what drugs was, I understood when I opened up their closet and I seen all of them drugs. My mama say to this day, she don't even know that this man was a dope boy. All the dice games I seen with every dope boy in the city, sitting in the middle of our living room. When I used to step over my stepdad's leg, he used to tell me to step back over backwards because it was bad luck. It was so many things that I picked up on as a child. Now, I don't feel like any child should go through those types of things. Now, as a parent, I do understand. You do whatever you feel that you have to do. Now, this man probably, you know what I'm saying, because of the money or because of whatever was going on at the time, my mama probably felt like she was doing her best as a mother to make sure we was okay. Let me tell you something. But you cannot see the after effects. Now, I understand most of us play the cards that we are dealt. And now, I did it to my child. I always said to myself as a kid, I would never miss out on my child's life because my father missed out on mine. Guess what I did? I got locked up 2 weeks before she was born. I got to go to every hospital visit. 2 weeks before she was born, guess where I was at? Locked up. I didn't get to see her born. As she was growing, guess what? I'm in and out of juvie. Then get what? I go to jail. Get out of jail, stay out a couple of months. Get what I do? Go to prison for 10 years. I followed almost a similar pattern as my daddy. Generational curses are a real thing. What I didn't know is my mother's relationship with her father, her relationship with her mother. But I do know this, my granny, I always looked at, ain't no way my mama is because mama don't move the same way as granny. So look, check this out. When all of these things are going on, I look at the environments we were in. I never was able to have a real conversation with my mama. Never. Even to this day. I've never been able to sit down with my mama and say what was going on with me. You know how many phone calls my mama got about me? You know how many times I was in and out of juvie, in and out of court, and I've never had a sit down with my mama where it was like a hug, what's wrong, what's going, never. I can count on one hand as a kid how many times my mama told me she loved me. Now I say this very unapologetic, but I say it, but I can also sympathize because I know a lot of parents will use this as an excuse and a go-to. They'll say, I didn't grow up with it. Well, I'm sick of hearing you saying you didn't grow up with it, because if you didn't grow up with it, you know you should be giving it to your child. If you say, well, my mama wasn't affectionate with me, so I didn't know how to be affectionate, but you knew you were not being affectionate. Were you afraid of being affectionate? Probably so. But your excuse does not work when you see there's a child who needs affection. I can probably count on one hand how many times I had a real embracement, hug, and a kiss from my mama. I can count on one hand how many times I probably even seen her come to my bedroom and check on me to see if I was even in there. Now, I'm not saying none of this to bash my mama. Like I said, I love my mama to death. That is my heart. That is my baby. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my personality come from her. So when y'all see a lot of this stuff come from her. A lot of my strength come from her. A lot of my heart come from her. A lot of my strength, a lot of my bravery, a lot of my courage, it come from my mama. I'm not taking everything from her. I'm addressing the thing when people say, what is your relationship like with your mama? So I'm gonna try to explain why our relationship is the way that it is. My mama has a bad pattern. She has a pattern with me. Now, I can't speak for my brother and my sister. I know my mama pattern.